Good morning, everybody. We're going to wait just a few minutes as everybody is hopping on here. Happy Sunday, August 22nd. Good morning, everybody. We're going to wait just a few minutes.
The old echo gets us again, huh?
Yep, absolutely. Good morning, Tish. Today we are going to be talking all things fasting, which is exciting. There's multiple different types of fasting, but they all kind of come down to the same thing. So waiting for a few more people to hop on. Those of you that are on, if you could send us a hello, let us know you're watching.
Good morning, Jennifer. Morning, Tish. What's up, Tina?
Your comments are coming in faster than me.
I got you off the draw quick today, firing on all
Hi,
cylinders.
Chris.
What's up, Chris?
So Jennifer was actually giving me a hard time, or was it Friday? Because we were saying we do coffee with the doc and I'm working on giving up coffee. I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it.
It's a slow progression.
No, I'm almost there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody reacts differently to coffee, and I'm one of those that can do 6, 7, 8 cups and I can sleep like a baby. But you put the wrong person at that type of regimen, they'll be like bouncing off the ceiling or something.
Yeah, if only.
Good morning, Mimi. What's up?
And no, not everybody has to give up coffee. That's not what we're saying. My new food report came back in, and that was the only thing that came up was coffee. So I'm like, oh gosh, yes, Chris, water with the doc. Well, Dr. Seth could still have coffee. So happy for him, I'm working on it.
I will say, yes, we're scaling down, and I will say we are going to be doing another food report for you because you drank a bunch of coffee and then did a blood test. So I don't know how valid those results were. And I told you at the time, but I had my husband hat on, not my doctor hat. So they didn't want to listen to me.
Yeah, you can't always be right. Right. All right, well, everybody's getting on, so let's go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about all things fasting, which is such a crucial topic. I think it can be a little confusing at times for some, but that's really our goal today, is to provide some clarity. A lot of you may not be watching this live, you'll watch it later on in the day. So if you have questions, please feel free to leave comments, ask away, shoot us a message. Again, this is a really important topic when it comes to your health. There's not a blanket statement with how fasting should be done for every person. Everybody's hormones are different. Everybody's history is different. Everybody's food panels are different. So again, we're going to be covering like generalizations with intermittent fasting, but again, please ask away. And we've also learned through just years and years of doing fasting, like we've actually recently kind of changed up our fasting. So we'll talk about that, how it's also important to continue to change your fasting habits. So, all right, Dr. Seth, why don't you kick this off?
Okay, let's do it. So just first off, if this topic is making you squeamish and you're like, oh boy, I don't know, you've got a blood sugar problem. And the first thing you should be doing to take control of your health is start fasting. And so we're gonna talk about that, but really, where this comes from is a principle that's been going on for thousands of years. However, as of late, let's look at the bodybuilding industry, because if we can understand the science of why we're doing what we're doing, it makes this a lot more palatable. So your body is either in a state of growth or it's in a state of repair. So for instance, a child that's growing should not be fasting. You want them to be eating so they can get big and strong and those types of things. Bodybuilders, their whole focus is centered around peaking towards competition time. So they're growing, they're bulking up, they're working out all the time. And so how they grow so much, the legal way, is they eat all of the time. So literally every 2 hours, I know bodybuilders that will set timers, middle of the night, they wake up midnight, eat, go back to bed, wake up at 2 a.m, eat, go back to bed. Every 2 hours they're eating protein. And so what's going to happen is they're going to bulk up. they're working out 2, 3, 4 hours a day. So they're converting that into muscle tissue. But, the standard American, if you're eating 5, 6, 7, 8 snacks, meals a day, the same thing's happening with you. It's just you're getting bigger, and it's bigger in a way that you don't want. So if that principle's true, then the opposite of that action also is true. And so what I mean by that is if you're eating, once a day, twice a day, maybe twice a day in a snack or whatever, in a very compact window, meaning the second you put a piece of food in your mouth till you're done consuming all calories for the day is 6 hours, 8 hours, even 10 hours, whatever. What your body's going to do is it's going to actually switch over and start you moving into a repair mode. And that's what most of us are looking for. I think we're all done growing. And I mean, would you agree with me, Dr. Lacey? We're all done growing?
Well, if I could get just a few more inches, that would be great. But I don't think that's the type of growth that we get from not intermittent fasting. So
yeah, I don't think that's in the cards for you. But so I think everybody on this this webinar here is looking to repair. And so that would be the best way to do it, because your food and your timing has got to be the foundation of your health.
Absolutely. And then just some quick benefits before we go over like how to start this is a couple main things. So one, intermittent fasting can super help with weight loss because we don't need to get into the crazy science of it, but it's going to help your body be more efficient at burning fat. So that's always nice. And then we always get the question, well, what if I don't want to lose weight? Well, there's still physiological healing that happens when your body is fasting. So again, if you're not wanting to lose weight, your body's not going to lose weight from fasting. It's just going to go into, again, heal and repair mode. So again, your body is super smart. It always knows what it's doing. So again, like even if you don't need to be losing weight, you still should be fasting, and we tweak what you're eating within your feeding windows. It improves blood sugar. So again, I know this is really confusing because most of the time, if you're diagnosed as a diabetic, they're going to tell you to do what? Not
eat
fast.
Lots of little meals. Yes.
Eat lots of little meals. And in fact, that's the easiest way to stay a patient in their system indefinitely. So again, fasting is one of the best ways that we can regulate blood sugar levels. We've seen this time and time again on blood markers. It doesn't mean it's an easy process, but we see that A1C dropping down substantially. We see blood glucose levels dropping down substantially. So again, it is a process, which we're going to go over how to make this easier or as easy as possible. But if you've got blood sugar imbalances, you absolutely have to fast. Fasting also keeps your heart healthy. It reduces triglyceride rates. It reduces inflammation in the body because it repairs oxidative stress. We all need reduction of oxidative stress, right?
Yep. Every last one of us.
Absolutely. Protects cognitive function. So your brain, it helps support your brain. That's why, what is it? Gandhi went on a 30 something day fast or something crazy like that. Yeah. But you'll know like the first couple of days of fasting, if you've ever done like an extended fast, your brain doesn't focus very well because it's just going haywire. But then after a couple of days of fasting, you've got clarity, your brain is focusing, it's healing. And then also too, the more that you fast, it actually helps reduce hunger cravings. And there's actually a hormone that specifically is triggered. The more that you fast, the less hungry you get, and that hunger craving goes away. So again, like huge benefits of intermittent fasting, which is why it is something that we recommend for everybody to do.
Yeah. And then, just kind of touching on people that are like, well, I don't want to lose weight. I know you lose weight when you intermittent fast. First of all, I think a lot of people on this call will be like, what in the heck are they talking about? But I did have a patient last week, and that was her concern. She had been fasting. She's going through the program with us. She's lost about 15, 20 pounds. Inflammation's way down. She looks freaking fantastic. And she said, well, man, maybe I have like another 5 pounds to lose, but I don't want to look sickly. I don't want to look emaciated. So like, should I start eating, more meals throughout the day? And the answer is no. This is a health protocol. It's not a weight loss hack. So if that is indeed a concern for you, all you need to do is really track your caloric intake throughout the day and just up your calories. So if you're consuming on average 1,500 calories a day and you're in a fasting window or feeding window, just up it to 1,800 and see if it levels out. And you'll find that tipping point. And then just work on kind of hitting that day on a daily basis, and you'll stop losing weight, but you still get all the health benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And then most women, scientifically proven, most women do the best because again, our target audience is women with 2 meals and 1 snack. So, and again, that snack needs to be a healthy snack. And as you're talking about like increasing calories, we're not talking about increasing it with like fruit or sugar or complex carbohydrates. You want to make sure that your diet is a well-based diet, which we just did a Coffee with the Doc 2 weeks ago about like just generalized nutrition 101. But again, we want like healthy fats. Fats are really good for us. Fats also reduce hunger craving. And then we want adequate protein intake. No, we're not saying you need to be like only protein. But again, like a well-balanced diet with a good amount of fat, good amount of protein, and then vegetables and minimal amounts of sugar and fruit.
So how do we jump into this thing? So if a person's never done this before, or, if they don't eat by 9 o'clock in the morning, they're going to rip somebody's head off. Like, how do we start? How do we jump in?
We start with baby steps. So again, the first thing is set out your goal. So again, for some people, what typically works is like a 16-8 fast, meaning 8 hours of the day, you're going to consume all of your food. And then the other 16 hours, you're going to not be consuming any caloric intake. So again, that's like the simplest one. And it's what most people find pretty easy and the least amount of challenging. So for instance, if we're talking about like the 16-8 intermittent fasting, you've got 8 hours within the day to eat. And we just said that it's ideal that you do 2 meals a day and you do a snack. In my opinion, if you can do coffee and you can do it healthy, in my opinion, the easiest way to fast is to skip breakfast, because coffee is a natural appetite suppressant, and coffee, which we'll talk about, as long as you're doing coffee the right way, you can drink coffee all throughout the morning, and then your first meal can be lunch, your second meal can be dinner, and then you have a snack sometime in between. That is going to be the easiest way to do the fasting, because it's not going to interrupt most people's routine that much. And then, like I said, coffee is a natural appetite suppressant. So it does help in the short term hack your body's blood glucose levels being wackadoodle.
When you say coffee done the right way, can you speak to that?
Plain. So black coffee. So again, keto coffee is a huge thing. Bulletproof coffee is a huge thing. Those are great things to put in your coffee, especially to like stoke your metabolic function, like the good fats, brain. However, they have a caloric intake. So if you are doing those in the morning, it doesn't count as fasting. So pretty much rule of thumb, if there's anything over about 5 to 10 calories, it's breaking your fast. So technically coffee's got like 5 calories. That's negligible. But if you're adding things in there, like even a healthy nut milk, it's breaking your fast. So again, we're totally for that over healthy untoxic or healthy toxic like creamers and sugars. But again, if we're talking about fasting specifically, the coffee needs to be plain. You can still use things like monk fruit and stevia because there's no caloric intake to those, and they actually do not disrupt blood glucose levels. So again, you can take your black coffee and you can do like the flavored stevias. You can do all that stuff and still have coffee.
Yeah. So I'm not a huge Starbucks guy. I'm frugal. I don't like to drop, $5 on a cup of coffee or whatever it is. I will say when we're traveling, if we're, going to be in the car for an extended period of time, one of the things I love to do is get their nitrogen infused cold brew. So there's no caloric intake into it. It comes out creamy, it cascades, it's beautiful to look at, tastes fantastic. So that may be a good step down if you're like, well, I just really like that creamy flavor in my coffee. Nitro cold brew for the win.
Yes, it's delicious, but not every Starbucks has it. So that is frustrating sometimes. Yeah.
So you got to find your spots, right?
Yeah. I will also say to beat a dead horse, water intake is super crucial, because a lot of times that hormone that we're talking about that produces that hunger feeling, a lot of times is dehydration. So hydration is key. I think we talked about this on a couple of Coffee with the Docs ago. But one of the first things that you should do first thing in the morning, if you are a experienced faster, you're not an experienced faster, is first thing in the morning, wake up and chug a huge thing of water. That alone will just help you. Yeah. I hate plastic water bottles, just so you guys know, it's like my bugaboo, but I've got one today. But that alone will just help start regulating stuff, getting your body working, start reducing that hunger hormone. So again, then start coffee. You can also save on the Starbucks Nitro Cold Brew. Oh, awesome, Tish. Thank you. Not that I can have it anymore. But again, you need to be drinking a ton of water. That will help with regulating your blood glucose. Another thing that you can do is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is also a natural blood glucose regulator. It does many, many things, but that's one of the things that it does. So you can put that in a little bit of water and then put a little bit of stevia so that it's not so tart and it almost tastes like a lemonade water, and sip on that throughout the day, especially in the beginning. If you've never fasted before, I'm all about using healthy hacks so that this isn't like so cumbersome on your body, because again, the sooner we can get you fasting, the sooner we're going to get those healing benefits. So again, even if we need to use some natural hacks to support your body so that you don't have like a headache or you're not like nauseous, I'm all for those. And then what's your favorite hack for helping support blood glucose levels?
Well, I'm going to circle back to that in 1 second. Jennifer, you asked a question where you said, does it matter if you drink cold or warm water? And oh my gosh, this is one of the all-time biggest debates. I hear both sides of this thing. It drives me bananas. Okay. So short answer, no, it doesn't matter. Because let's think about this, right? If I have a big old cold glass of water and I'm putting it into my body, what should my internal body temperature be, Dr. Lacey?
98.6.
98.6 to be exact. Okay. So if that water is cold, it's going to turn warm pretty quick. If the body's lukewarm, if the water is lukewarm and I drink it, what's the temperature going to be? 98.6. It doesn't matter. So let's not get so specific, so finite. Let's just drink water, drink water. Right?
I personally don't feel like I can like chug freezing cold water. So we thankfully have like a spigot on our water dispenser that's more like room temperature. For me, first thing in the morning, I prefer room temperature. I feel like it's easier on the system because there is logic to like really cold water, like is a little bit hard on your like system as you're waking up. I get it, but I think it can be like people can overanalyze everything. So I think like the more important thing is just getting it down. And then my secondary is like personal preference. So for you, if you're going to do better drinking warm water, then freaking go for it. If you're like, I can't chug water unless it's ice cold, drink freaking ice cold water then. Like do whatever you got to do. Because again, like the little bit of issue that potentially may cause, it's negligible by the amount of water that you're going to be getting in your body. So yeah.
Yep. I will say though, if we're going to just get on this water kick, one of the things I'd be very careful about on an empty stomach is drinking overly like alkalinized water. It can really start to neutralize your stomach acidity and those types of things. So just be aware of that. I mean, I want nice, clean spring water. You're going to be good to go most of the time, right?
Yeah. All right. Third hack for helping your body fast. First is coffee, second is apple cider vinegar, and third is
cinnamon oil.
Cinnamon essential oil, which is a very, very hot oil. So typically I like to just put like a drop on my tongue, but it can burn your tongue just a smidge. So you can also like empty it into a vitamin capsule. You can put a drop like in a shot glass of water and take it. But cinnamon oil is great. We always have that, like whether it's in a backpack or a purse, so that when we're traveling, if we're ever traveling and like we're the type of people that will just fast if we can't find food that we are willing to eat. Not everybody needs to be that level, and that's okay. That's just us. We always have cinnamon oil just because it helps support. Again, like I'm all about healthy hacks, that if we're in a situation where it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we haven't eaten and there's nowhere for us to eat, and it's doing cinnamon oil or eating unhealthy food, we're going to pick cinnamon oil. So again, it's all about having things in your tool belt that are natural and can help support the body, but it's always important to understand why. So like if you're having to use cinnamon oil 3 months from now, you're not addressing the true dysfunction in the body and the blood glucose level. So again, it should be like a short-term crutch that you don't need indefinitely. So
yeah, we've been fasting, what would you say, for maybe 5 years, something like that?
I think it's more than that. Yeah,
it's been a minute. We've been pretty heavy into it. So I couldn't have told you the last time I used cinnamon oil. However, my sweet wifey Pooh and I got this brilliant idea last night. We wanted popcorn, and it's been ages since we'd had popcorn. So we have the tiny but mighty popcorn seeds, are real little, easy for your body to break down. Did it on the stove top with some ghee. It was fan-freaking-tastic. But when you eat something like that later at night, what happens the next morning, Dr. Lacey?
Oh, you're a little bit more hungry. Yeah.
So guess what I hit up this morning before our coffee with the doc? Cinnamon oil. Like, well, you shouldn't have had popcorn last night, you idiot. But,
yeah.
it was fine.
Well, and that's why I'm drinking way more water than normal too, because like I haven't hit that hunger feeling, but I know when you do a high carbohydrate, like at nighttime, which is typically when you're gonna like cheat or have healthy snacks or whatever, you're gonna wake up in the morning hungry, and you're not really hungry. It's just you did a freaking carbohydrate bomb on your body, and your body's like self-regulating. So again, knowing that, I drank a ton of water before going to bed, because again, like you can still have fun, like you could still have popcorn, like we did the healthiest popcorn possible, but just know the next morning when you wake up, like you're gonna struggle a little bit more with your fasting, and that's okay. Try not to cave so that you can course correct. But if you need to move your fasting window up a little bit today, like for instance, if we needed to do that, okay, fine, then we'll just be done eating dinner a little bit earlier than normal. So that again, it's all about, we want to give you guys the tools to course correct the best way possible. Again, you don't need to be a hermit crab. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to know how to course correct.
Yeah, and everybody kind of approaches this a little differently. I really get frustrated with my body when it is lying to me. So like right now I'm feeling, or before our webinar, I was feeling like, oh man, I'm hungry. That's not true. I am not hungry. I have plenty of reserve caloric intake on my body. I'm going to be fine. So I'll actually probably go a little bit longer with my fast today just to prove my body a point. It's like, no, you're not in control. I'm in control, and we're going to ride this out. So I'll kind of punish myself a little bit, but I mean, whatever you need to do, however you need to get through it, fast.
Absolutely. And that's one thing we always used to teach patients when we would do in-person workshops is like, your body's lying to you, like you're not really hungry. So again, that's something that you need to tell yourself too, is you're not really hungry. Like if you've got anything over, what is the body fat percent? Like anything over 18% body fat, you're not in a position to starve, because your body will literally start eating away fat tissue before it eats away muscle tissue or anything. So you're never starving. I hate those words. Like that's not something we actually say in our house. Like we teach the kids not to say that. I teach my staff. I'm like, do not say you're starving. Like physiologically, like you're not starving. You may be hungry, but you're not starving. Like that's not true. That's a bad verbiage. It's a bad thing to teach our brain. Like it just creates neural pathways that are absolutely incorrect. And it's a way for you to lie to yourself. So.
Well, yeah. And to your point, what do they say? People on average gained 10 pounds over this COVID thing, right? 10 pounds. Okay. So let's just take that. If you gain 10 pounds over COVID, what fat cells are reserve calories for your body to use when there's no food present. Unfortunately, what got us to be the fattest country in the world is we're really good at having food present all the time. So there's never any time to tap into our reserve calories. But 1 pound of fat in your body makes up 3,500 calories, okay? Which means the COVID weight average that people gain, that's 35,000 reserve calories that you have at your disposal, more than likely on average, right? So do you know how much food it would take to consume 35,000 calories? It's like 3 Thanksgiving dinners for 10 people in one city. So you're in no danger of starving. Stop using that verbiage.
Right? Yeah. So you're not starving, you're hungry, which is a hormonal imbalance and a blood glucose imbalance. So again, it's just teaching your body, teaching your brain, teaching you for like self-respect, like this self-healing journey, is having all of these things to understand that like you are in control of your body. And like, I think that's the most important thing, at least for me. I can't speak for you, Dr. Seth, but like fasting has given me control over what I put into my body, when I put it into my body, and how I regulate hormones and everything like that. Because again, one of the other things that really gets regulated when you intermittent fast is hormones. And most women, can I get an amen, have freaking hormone problems. Like, I mean, it's literally what you do all the time, right? And so when you intermittent fast, it naturally helps support the body regulate the hormones amongst all the other things that we need to do. But again, this is the safest, easiest thing that we can do across the board as just like a starting point is intermittent fasting. It also helps the liver start purging, starts working. And we know those of you that work with us privately, like your liver plays a huge role in hormone conversions. And so again, like if we're doing all this work on the liver and we're not supporting it every way possible, like you'll still get some benefit, but again, intermittent fasting is going to help give you like almost all of that benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So taking this thing home. All right. So we've fasted for 16 hours. Now we're ready to break our fast. What does that really look like? What's the right way to do it? What's the wrong way to do it? Where are we at?
So wrong way to break your fast is with a bunch of sugar and complex carbohydrates. So again, that's where the word breakfast came from, break fast. So one thing too is like we talked about doing like skipping breakfast, but some people that's not going to work for them. So you could do breakfast and lunch or whatever it is, but you're breaking your fast breakfast. So typically breakfast is our lunch. It needs to be with like a high fat, like good fat, okay, and then protein, and then a vegetable. So basically what we recommend for every meal is what you should break your fast with. If you want to do breakfast or you want to do it earlier, also the thing I hate that our society has taught you is that there's breakfast food, there's lunch food, there's dinner food. If you want to freaking break your fast in the morning with chicken wings, like who cares? Do it. Like, and that's one thing that I think we need to really adapt as a society, because a lot of people actually have food sensitivities to eggs. And so people are like, what do I eat for breakfast? Have a burger if you want, have a steak, eat bacon, eat avocado. It really doesn't matter. Just break your fast with good quality food. So good proteins, good fats, good vegetables, that kind of stuff. Not a smoothie full of complete sugar.
Right. And let's think about this thing as my dogs come running into the kitchen, of course. So I'm doing our live stream from the kitchen, and the dogs have not eaten yet. And so they eat once a day as well. They fast, but they're pretty strict upon their time schedule, and they think they should eat right now. But your body's either going to burn sugar or it's going to burn fat for energy. Okay. So most of us want to be in fat burning mode. And that's what happens when you're fasting. So if we're coming off a 16-hour fast and we're ready to eat, and your body's already converted to breaking down fat for energy, the best thing you can give your body is fat, because it doesn't pull your body out of fat burning mode. If you've been burning fat for 16 hours and then you throw a bunch of sugar on it, it's going to convert, your body's going to convert. Oh, we're not breaking down fat anymore. Now we're going to start breaking down sugar, and you're back in that hamster wheel all over again. So high, good quality fat, low carbohydrate, good, clean protein, vegetables for the win.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had a patient the other day. She's like, I don't understand what I'm doing. I'm fasting. And then like, I start eating and I get like really like lightheaded and dizzy and nauseous. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, what are you breaking your fast with? And she was breaking her fast with like a 100% fruit smoothie, like no coconut milk, no almond milk, no nothing. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, your body's literally going from fat burning to sugar burning, and like not a good idea. I'm like, if you're going to do that, which I don't recommend, do that maybe like as a snack, but always throw in some aspect of like fat or protein with it. So again, I don't hate smoothies, but smoothies need to have like the smallest amount of fruit in it. And then more predominant, like a healthy protein powder or a healthy like nut milk that has good quality fat and protein. Not like, here's a smidge of coconut milk with my 300 calorie or 300 grams of sugar fruit smoothie stuff.
Yeah. And also with juices as well. So you get one fruit. All right. The rest should be vegetables. So you can do, kale, cucumber, celery, parsley, whatever you want to do. And then you can do lemon, or you can do, an apple, whatever, but don't say, oh, I've been juicing and so great. And so you get orange, pineapple, and then like one little thing of green. That's not going to do anything for anybody.
Nope. All right. Does anybody have any questions that's on here? I know, like I said, a lot of you don't have the opportunity to watch this live, which is totally okay. But again, if you guys do have questions with this, please put messages in the chat bar with this specific, it's not a webinar, Facebook Live, I don't know, whatever they're called.
Whatever it is.
And then we do upload these to our YouTube page. So if it's difficult for you to ever find these, scrolling through the group, which can be difficult at times because there is a lot of content. You can always go and watch on our Facebook page. We have all of our Coffee with the Docs uploaded. This whole week in our free inflammation and hormone group, we'll be reiterating the importance of fasting so that you guys can learn a little bit more each day this upcoming week. And then again, ask questions as needed, invite and share with your friends, because again, the more people that get healthy, the better and healthier our society will be. So we are really excited this week to bring you all things fasting. And then again, next week's topic will be immune system, which is really exciting. So
my wheelhouse. I love it.
All right, everybody. We hope you have a fantastic and wonderful Sunday. Have a safe and healthy day, and don't get into any trouble, or don't get caught, right?
Don't get caught.
Bye, guys.